It's the flag. Like allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Maybe Greg though that I was good. It's
In a string of texts this morning.
email, yeah. I just think what John, I just think, well, John has a better idea than I was, anyways. Well, Jerry. All right, let's start it off. Well, not an update, who wants to jump on that, Jim? Well, so at this point, Travis has been down there the past roughly 2 weeks, getting the road, storm water going up the hill. Done. I would think in the next 2 weeks, they will have, the road up to the top, in. The water main went in, but that was part, did I mention this last time? We may have it now. Water main is drilled, but, we were going through solid rock, so it took a couple extra days to get that done. We had to run a whole ram to get some work done up there to get through the bedrock, so it's in, we just gotta finish it going to the top. We've been more MRB, been back and forth with the DOH on septic location, septic design. I think we have a final plan to get approved, hopefully by the DOH. So there's been some extra expense there with engineering it to what the DOH is asking us to do on this project. It's not huge, but extra money that was not what wasn't planned, what we weren't expecting to have to make a third revision.
How much do you think, Jim?
8,000.
Yeah, that's not.
So somewhere around there, because each time they went in, it was about 3,500. I can't really answer why each time they made changes, they just didn't like. The last change we had to make, they made us go in and open up the existing to see if there was biofoul and where the mean water high mark was on the existing infiltrator stuff, and to give them that information. So and then I was hoping to have the discussion of the cost of electric. We haven't had a new number in 2 years. That was for next year, roughly 2 years. So I asked O'Connell Electric, I sent the plans that we got from the electrical engineer to give me an estimate on what this is going to potentially cost us, since everything's gone up since our last budget. So we're gonna find out. So we're gonna find out. I was hoping I'd get by now, but I can't share that with you because I haven't received it yet. So, but overall, with the decent weather, amount has been going well every day, and I think by the end of October we'll have the road in, the turnaround in, ponds done, probably seeded, and then they'll leave bringing the utilities up to the top of the hill. So we did, Greg did share a different cost for the bathhouse. Did not print that this morning, I apologize. Did I share that with you guys? I don't think I did. I'm sorry.
All right, but
Greg had their pared down the bathrooms here. And it's 2 bathrooms, just unisex bathrooms, and 2 family restrooms with a utility chase between the 2 of them. And Ray, what was the cost of that?
It's about $500,000.
$500 million.
So, you're like, you know, whatever, $300,000 short or less than what it was originally.
There's lots of trees out there.
So I'll share it with you. I apologize. I thought I sent that out. So,
Okay.
but that bathroom is something that, again, at least we got a new number on it to discuss, to go with our budget for next year.
And that was what you put in for your CFA application, was that bathhouse.
Yeah, we hear about that in December.
Yeah, probably. CFA awards come out right at the end of the year.
Christmas time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Hopefully it's not cold.
That's right.
I think it's illegal though. Well, you have to get a new cost for electric, so,
Yeah,
you have no idea what that might be, it'll be
don't.
higher, but. What don't we have covered in cost at this point? It was
Well-
like $1.5 million, I think, wasn't it?
well, now that we have an actual, it's not approved yet by DOH, but
Yeah.
I think we're going the right direction. Now we can put together a new estimate of cost for materials to install this.
Yeah, I meant to follow up. How did your conversation with Cecilia go?
Not the,
Oh.
would be the fact that I haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't done it myself. So, I'm
That-
trying to pare down the size of this thing, so it to be. Later, I'm like, we're only here, so we don't, it's not like it's a 24/7 operation, so. Maybe she'll let us cut it down, I don't know. I was gonna ask a question of DOH, now that they have a. Consider a plan, can we make it smaller, so that spend as much on this project?
But the field tests basically came back and kind of showed us that, you know, there wasn't biofouling on the existing. So that allows us to go over top of that one with this new septic system. So, and I think we've moved it enough so that they'll take away their little caveat of, you know, any, you know, wetness in that area that will make us move it, you know, any farther from where it is right now. So
Correct.
with that, I think we finally we're in a situation where they would actually approve what we have offered to them. But if Jim's able to convince them to cut some of this out, then maybe we could, you know, reduce the overall footprint.
So that's up plan.
Good.
Jim, do you want us to drone that like in the next like week or two?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask MRB to fly it, show progress for you guys, so you can see what's going on out there.
It looks a lot different.
Yeah, it looks a lot different out there now, that hillside, it's nice, you can walk it pretty easily, it's not quite this, it's
It'd be good
nice.
to put on the website, you know,
Yeah.
for people to look at and see progress.
I thought that'd be something nice to
Yeah,
have.
I think.
Yeah, I'll schedule that up with Gene.
We don't have a drone. Is that on your wish list now?
No, but it is on our wish list. Mike and I would like one.
Maybe a tentative budget, all right? Well, in this particular case, there won't be a charge, so. another day.
All right, move on to North Road.
So North Road is progressing, they laid the base asphalt yesterday. They're doing the intersection of base material today. The plan is Monday and potentially Tuesday to place the binder course on North End. That will then allow them to then build the structures on the catch basins up, put the frames on them. They're shooting for 23rd or 24th of October to place the top course on the asphalt. One thing that Greg and I have to work out with the contractor is the transition from the new to the old road. There's gonna be a bit of this.
There's about a 3 to 4 foot center line road shift. So and that's gonna persist through the winter, so we just wanna make sure it's like. One, it's long enough, because originally when we talked with them, they wanted to know our 6 foot, like, mill and. Whatever, it was too short of a transition piece, so it needs to be like stretched out a little bit.
Like 20 feet.
Yeah, but some of it can be, it might not all need to be an asphalt related change some of, I think it's maybe doing some temporary striping and shifting the lane over on the other section of the road, pulling it over closer to the gutter to kind of stretch out that transition.
So we'll work on that, and then they are, if the weather holds, they'll try and get sidewalk in where they can this year. Get the driveways back together, so.
The whole sidewalk, the whole-
I don't know about the whole sidewalk, Terry, but you know, we'll do what we can with the weather we have. So we don't wanna start paying for heated concrete and put blankets on and things like that, but if we can get some of it done this year, that'd be good.
So we are getting good concrete. The
Yeah,
brakes were
brakes
like,
good,
we're all like around like 4,800.
Yep.
And above.
yeah, so the brakes were good on the concrete, so and the residents have been understandable, our has done a good job with communicating with everybody out there. We try to communicate, we're trying to find different ways to get people in and out, so it's been overall a good experience with Chad.
Chad's been good.
Chad's been good with us out there, and Jeff, the inspector for MRB, is seasoned. He knows good from bad, and he's been keeping track of daily quantities, so there's no argument on the pay apps at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so.
pay apps have been pretty
Been
clean
pretty
thus far.
smooth, so it's been going pretty well. And yeah, I think overall it's been successful on this project so far.
So what the good news would be is like, there's certain elements that we had in our itemized bid that, because of how they're kind of going through this, we might not actually use it, so. That should not, there's probably some elements that we're gonna see some savings on. Now I say that, but I'll also say there's probably some other elements we'll have some overruns on, so. Generally speaking, I think budget wise, we're good construction.
Yeah, we've been decent with.
Yeah.
construction.
What percentage would you say we're gonna be complete?
This year, probably, if the sidewalks get in, then we'll be half done this year.
Yeah, as I say, close to half.
We'll have restoration to do in the spring of this first half, so. There has been a little bit of discussion, if the weather holds, of doing the drainage. Continuing up, but just temporary pavement for the winter. Just so it's a little bit less to do in the next, in 26. We haven't really gone far with that discussion. We want to get this done first, and then we'll discuss what November could potentially be out there.
The biggest thing is we just want to make sure, like, because of the center line shift and where the DIs end up, that we can still drain the road. So you can imagine, where the DIs for the finished product is going to be. Those DIs will sit like roughly about 6 foot inside the travel lane right now. So that's, so the question is, will we have adequate drainage? If they do that, right?
So that's just something we're thinking about, but we'll see what the weather does. On North Road, just to move things along a little bit quicker for next year, so.
Looks good, it's moving along well, by the sounds of it, and all of our back and forth earlier this year. Hopefully it proves to be a good.
It's definitely not without stress, Terry.
It's not what it was portrayed that it could be.
Well, Nadler has done a good job at taking care of some situations for us. How's that?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Nobody shooting.
No issue, but Chris has helped us out with some situations. So it's been good.
Good. Great. What are master plans?
Or,
Completed document there.
yeah,
Then,
it's very thin. All right, so all the field work is done, all the modeling work is done. Now we're just going through updating particular sections, so. I asked Derek to give me a quick update where he's at right now. We've completed the population growth projections for the consolidated district. Estimated those potential water system demands for residential, commercial, reviewed potential development within existing service areas and outside to determine population growth supported by the available parcels under the current zoning. And we started working on the figure updates from 2017 plan to match the current system, so. We're on track to basically have a draft ready by the end of the month, which is, I think, consistent with what we talked about last time. So it's, Derek's my mad scientist, so I'm trying to keep him on track.
Good. Town hall renovation.
I hear it.
I'm sure.
Go ahead, right now.
Town hall renovations, buddy.
The water master plan, back to that, do you want to discuss the overview of the
Yep.
segment?
So I have some overages on engineering, so I requested those to be done, particularly on the PRV vaults. Because I needed more detail for the future of our service of our two zones. So the overages was how much?
Well, it was originally authorized for 47,500, we're up to 64,889.
So,
And that was like, again, that was our 6-man crew out there doing,
correct.
it was like 8 or 9 days worth of, collection, and then it was rectifying about a terabyte of data to get the flow results out of that. So,
That wasn't included in the original.
no, we just carried a couple days of doing some, what I would say is more standardized flow testing.
Well,
This was definitely far more detailed. We got a lot more information on the PRVs, and I think that's generally what Jim and I kind of talked about, is just trying to really understand what's happening with the pressure, these pressure reducing valves, and why they're having problems with, having maintenance issues as quickly as they're having.
so
47 to 60.
64.
Yeah,
With a percentage increase.
that was like half of the time. So I ate half of
Well, that's nice of you, thank you.
that.
However, that wasn't anticipated.
No, sir. It was not. So, but I needed the information for this town, for this master plan. These PRVs are a pain in the ass with multiple ins and outs of them, and they constantly are having problems with the equipment that's in them.
And we operate a relatively high pressure system, so when PRVs have problems, it can be expensive. You probably remember.
Yep.
A few years back when everyone's water heater blew up. Yeah,
And also when we blew the pipe all around Cheshire Road. And so now we have an understanding for the future. They're all gonna have to be updated,
Mhm.
different sizes.
Probably use a different technology too. It's
Different
probably gonna be a
technology would be
spring related versus
Much
the
better.
pilot operated ones.
So
So they will react a little bit faster.
Easier means.
Mhm.
But that'll be a future expense to
So
upgrade.
as part of the water master plan, this will be something that the town board can use as a document in the future to make the necessary maintenance to the system for the next 50 years. Because once they're rebuilt, because they're all undersized, every one of them's undersized throughout the district. I mean, a 2-inch, like this one out here is a 2-inch or 3-inch, it's open 24/7. And then the 8-inch is constantly chattering, wears out the 8-inch seat and the brass in it, because it's constantly trying to keep up with demand going north.
Right.
So it's one of those, these things are part of the workforce of the high pressure district. And when one goes bad, the other ones all react incorrectly, then they create.
Cascade.
Well, it puts more stress on not only this downhill stream, but on the lake, which can be sometimes around 180 PSI, which is really high pressure when we're trying to do stuff. But it also likes to mess with people's hot water tanks, pressure reducing valves, faucets, those types of things.
So Jim, are you putting those on to replace them as they go bad? I mean, are we budgeting for that?
Well, this is going to tell us, Dave, that what size.
Right.
what
No, I understand
location,
that, but and so you're gonna implement like a strategy from here
There.
and budget
Mhm.
for that.
Budget
Yeah,
for those,
yeah,
correct.
good.
But there won't be anything in next year's budget for upgrading or changing out system.
No, because I think the reason is because we need to look at
Oh,
what
yeah,
is
we
being
don't know.
recommended.
So it's 27 then.
We
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
The 8-inch valves are not necessarily something that's just sitting around. the 3-inch valves, 4-inch valves are a little more common to find. And then, not only that, but whatever we're replacing, now we're end up replacing spool sections, because there'll be different widths. You know,
The
new
lay
is not
length
gonna
is
fit with
different,
The old,
right.
so we're gonna be doing replumbing the interior of these PRVs.
How many of them?
We
Just a
have
few.
9,
What's cost per?
I do not
Any idea?
know, I cannot tell you that right now, because,
Tens of thousands
yeah,
each.
each, yeah.
I mean, yeah, if we're going to a, you know, if it's a 2-inch that's going to a 3-inch, 3-inch PRV is probably in that, 7,500, $8,000 range. So once you factor in the plumbing, so
I mean, just to bring, you
for
know,
one,
Ross Valve out here once a year costs us about 15,000-20,000 just to go through them. So Travis has gotten away from that, training our own people to fix our own stuff.
Yeah.
So we can eliminate some of that cost, because you used to just call Ross Valve and they would cost a lot of money to come out and fix it.
Sure, from the time they hung the phone up.
Yeah,
That's something though that could come out of, our, operation and maintenance,
correct.
we got money in there, I don't know how much right now.
Well, you currently have around $2 million in fund balance.
So there's money to,
you don't have
Correct.
to, the other thing, Terry, you don't have to tackle them all at the same time.
no, but.
But you would probably tackle most of those, vaults that are feeding the same pressure zone or same service area, those ones you'd probably do in tandem, right?
They're the ones that are on all the time first. And
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be part of the operational budget for a given year, so it could come out of that.
Right.
So it's not a-
You know, if we have to get the ARPA money, then we're gonna need that $2 million to go towards the.
Yeah.
So, because if we get 7, we gotta put in 3. So,
We're not, there's no, or is there anything in this water master plan update regarding any water district expansions or new district? We've not talked about any.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
well,
I mean, there are some areas, but I
There
mean,
are
they're
areas that-
carryovers from the last water master plan.
right.
Well, I know you want to tie,
I like
Some
to tie
areas.
in dual road, but I've recently, this is not part of master plan, but this summer we've had a number of people on Smith Road, the south end of town, wanting public water because their water's poor or it's out all the time. They're constantly hauling water up that way. So,
And there's the 4-H.
yeah, so there are people who want to speak with me about Smith Road to bring it to the town board in the near future about a water extension. So,
There's Woolhouse and Rozier that, was an idea. It's not, so I mean, those are, closing dead ends.
but you don't make recommendations, you just list.
No, these are, like I said, these are just kind of ongoing areas that like have been discussed before, but out Dual Road is obviously, that's a system improvement.
Dual
Smith
roads-
Road could potentially be a system improvement because we get a tank, then Pierce Park Pump Station becomes a standard fill station. And the Goodale Pump Station goes away, which are maintenance headaches for the town, really, so.
So that's,
Has there been any contact made from, Bristol Harbor Village system? Wanting to,
past year and a half, nothing, Terry.
I know they talked about it a few years ago, but there are issues down there that.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
basically,
their tank is 50 years old, the system is 50 years old, so.
It's been quiet, right? So that's good.
yeah, no discussion, so.
But please can.
Would not take over their water system.
No,
It's been quiet.
If you did anything, sell them water and call it good, put a master meter and let them take care of it.
Yeah, I just wonder, yeah. Okay. Now we're going to town hall. Yeah,
Sorry, I mean, extend that conversation, so I just wanna make sure, cause I don't know what your abstracts look like when you're reviewing, but there had to be an increase to the purchase order for that, and then I accidentally closed one out. And had to open up a new one. I'm learning my new finance clerk duties and closed out the purchase order by accident. So,
Is the water master plan update, can that be paid out of the?
The water,
Yeah, but
yeah, it should be something.
I didn't hear the question, sorry.
Yeah,
yeah,
well, that $17,000,
It come out of water,
it comes out of that.
Yeah,
It's not gonna affect the.
it's not gonna do anything.
no, we just had to increase the purchase order and then the transfer will happen within that purchase
Yeah.
order, so from the funds, so.
Gotcha.
The town hall renovation, we haven't had a meeting. So I don't have any update from the contractors or MRBs and other than, cause we haven't had a meeting after,
the guys from Tactical weren't available, or the right guy from Tactical
yeah.
wasn't available,
wasn't
so we
gonna be
kicked it.
here. And we were also, we wanted him to be there because of the liquidated damages notice that was sent to them. Regarding the, not meeting the substantial completion date, and they haven't yet received a new substantial completion date from them. However, I was just talking to the one guy on site earlier this morning and said the rest of the cabinets for the clerk's office should be in next week. They are finishing up the upstairs bathrooms today. They gotta shut down the downstairs bathrooms a little bit today, and then once they reopen those, we'll have both bathrooms supposedly reopened by end of day today. But the upstairs, for the most part, cleaned up and done. There's some wall stuff to take care of, it looks like still. We gotta do the punch list still, but really the main things are the millwork for the counters of the clerk's office and still the reception area for phase one. And we're still waiting on doors that were ordered to replace the salvage doors from phase one, make them all consistent. And we still don't have locks on any of our doors. So that still there's no status on this. Yeah, I haven't heard whether Maggie or Joe got any response from Tactical or not.
I know they pinged them. So I'll text them right now.
I haven't seen any response. The letter went out last week. But there's been some significant delays that were beyond our changes in scope of work. So, and I will say, once that letter did go out, all of a sudden, the upstairs got done pretty quickly in the last week.
Sounds like you gotta send out another one.
Yeah,
So,
something soon.
but, and I know I briefly mentioned it in finance the other day, but I did a little more research into it. And we are going to have to do some kind of housekeeping resolutions regarding the capital budget. Because it was never amended from the initial 63,500 that it was set at for the initial design phase. There was some amendments for the design, and then once we authorized the actual contract, there should have been an authorization of budget increase resolution that actually increased the capital budget to what we approved. So so I gotta work on that probably in November, because we have to get, there's no point doing it now until we get all the final numbers anyway. So we see that hopefully November, December, clean up that capital project and close it out.
When do you think it will be done? So that.
Well, again, they told me some of those things that next week, but
Yeah.
they're forgetting about all the other things that they still haven't finished. At least into beginning of November, because I do know, or at least the bottom of the stairwell, where they have two different color treads. Is because the manufacturer sent them all the right color treads except for two. They installed them. I told them just go ahead and install them so we can open the stairwell back up. But because they weren't gonna be getting the right color back until end of October. So they still will have to come back and finish that up. And again, I haven't heard a peep about when these door slabs are coming in or when our locks we're rekeying the entire building. To get on a consistent master key, because there's the key in this building is not good.
So it's probably gonna, so it's gonna spill into November, so it's, I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely gonna.
probably most likely, probably December. When you probably close the stuff out.
When were they supposed to be done?
The initial substantial completion date was August 25th. We gave them a leeway of about a month. We knew they were gonna go over, we changed some scope of work. There were some delays with the tile work, and for the upstairs bathroom. But we figured everything that we changed on our end, and it was agreed upon in a meeting that the 1 month leeway was sufficient to cover all that. So that would have put it to, I think it was September 28th, I think. Or something.
Yeah, it was like the end of September, right?
And then they didn't meet that either. So.
So it sounds like it'll be about 2 months late.
Yeah, we were supposed to be doing on September 20 or September 30th is what it was supposed to start the punch list. And they were nowhere close, and the upstairs was still a mess and done, so. There's the delay with the millwork has been significant, and nobody can really get an answer. Or MRB can't really get the right answer as to why. So it's
Too big a project for them.
I think so.
no, well,
For tactical,
yeah,
yeah.
perhaps,
I
it
think so.
wasn't. Yeah, the communication between tactical and the sub for the millwork. We can't get any straight answers on what actually happened there. So.
Well, maybe in December, they'll be able to rearrange people and get people back to where they should be.
Oh, right
we'll
before
get,
then.
We'll get the town clerk's office back upstairs as soon as they put the countertops on, which supposedly now is next week, so. As soon as that's done, we can move them back upstairs. At least get back to normal operations, there'll just be some of these lingering things.
So it'll be open to the public then.
Yeah, we'll open the upstairs back to the public, once the clerk gets up there. We just gotta work with Chrislyn on when they wanna do that, we'll have to try to get it done in a day again.
Okay, that. Thanks, Chairman. All right, grants discussion. That's probably why you're here, Judy.
You like
Well,
rooms?
a little bit.
Across from.
All good. All good.
Back in August, July, we got a proposal for the $90,000 grant. Not quite. Source.
That was fun, yeah.
The MS4, thank you. And haven't done with it yet, and then, because we were discussing with the city on what portion needs to be done and how. Kevin, being part of the discussion, want to do things a little differently to save some money for both the town and the city, and also do some stuff where we would get reimbursed for some of the work that's being done for us through the watershed, and MRB would have to do their portion of the MWBE and some training of GIS.
Right.
So instead of a $55,000 cost, it's gonna be $15,000 cost to MRB. And Kevin will work with MRB, the city, the town, to get this grant administered so we can complete it in the next 6 months. Is what the goal is here. And so I had that proposal for 15,000 for MRB to do their portion of the grant that I think we'll put on this agenda, John, to get approved. Sure. Okay. If not, tell me no.
Send us some.
Okay. So, any questions about that portion? Okay. There was a question about getting reimbursed about the 50,000. I believe we got the answer correct to that,
Yeah, so the DEC has accepted the report, so this, so the color plan report's all good, that makes us eligible to get reimbursement. I just didn't, I had to send you guys an additional bill to basically bill it out to be able to get the full
Yes, like
reimbursement,
500,
because otherwise I'd have to do 2 reimbursements, so, for $500, so I just basically billed ahead for the work that they're doing now. So that came in so we can get the reimbursement. The whole intent is to get that money before the end of the year.
Right.
It'd be like 50 grand coming back to you guys.
correct.
Great, good.
For that part there. There was, I don't know if we've heard anything about the CFA or the WIA, if you've heard anybody.
No.
Anything. I haven't either.
No, but I mean, you know, for your WIA grant, you know, again, someone should reach out to Pam. Let her know that, you know, hopefully if she sees anything about that, she can add some weight to your application. It's always good to kind of make sure that your representatives know, because the WIA grants are somewhat political. There is some sway that they have, as to which one become priorities for certain regions. So it'd be
When does
helpful.
they get announced, right?
It's basically WIAs are not like CFAs, their permits always at the end of the year. WIAs, sometimes it becomes a political thing where, you know, if you're in an election year, sometimes they drag them a little bit later, or sometimes they actually bring them up earlier into the calendar year. So normally it's end of the year, but I mean, it could be like, you know, beginning of next year, or I mean, it could be in November. I don't know, but I would think that because the WIA grant calendar went later this year, because those weren't due until sometime in September, because and those were normal, and last year they were due in early June. So because of that calendar shift, I would expect them to come out later, so probably end of the year, beginning of next year, I would say at the latest.
Well, if we knew somebody that knew Pam very well, to talk to her.
I can, just send me the info. Send me what you want me to say.
Get the WIA grant. for it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I can send, I think I have your email. I can send you some talking points.
That'd be good, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't look like a dope.
That's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Ironically, Dale asked for the same thing.
Or if you get that, then we gotta come up with our portion of it to do the work.
But that would obviously be a great thing, because, you know, you're talking about, you know, potentially $5 million of
Well,
money
it was
to,
8, but
yeah.
who knows what it is?
Well, I'm saying that the grant component of your contract would be 5 million.
Yeah.
So your outlay would be 3-ish, right? So, so yeah, I mean, that'd be a pretty great shot in the arm from that perspective.
You want grants?
I think so.
And Jim, if you want to, sorry, I think, I set up that actual phone call, but if you want to, if we could set up the phone call maybe with Lori next week, then. If you want to go through all the different grants, yeah, and like where they are in the process, so.
I think it was just this grant here and the. Non-point source grant, I think there was a two that
Yeah.
people were discussing that we were trying to put our heads around,
Okay, perfect.
okay, so.
Okay,
So for the mapping grant, is that gonna be? Do you want us doing the grant administration of that?
Yep,
Yeah, you're doing
Okay.
that.
you're gonna do.
I just have record mapping and training.
Training,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see the proposal, so that, yeah, that makes, yeah, that works, okay. We'll just need the access to the SFS system for, probably Sarah mainly doing that aspect. Access, we've done that before, like the hydro seeder grant for the town and some other grants to access the grant portal for.
Yeah.
For the town, yeah.
we need to memorialize this somehow.
Well,
What will we have? Clear
yeah,
picture.
in the resolution, I'll include his
Yeah.
paperwork and Greg's paperwork and what's going on, so it goes in as one.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask, how's the proposal going?
oh,
Sign, are we executing two separate proposals?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, and our proposal can say, if you don't like our work, don't pay us.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, it's recorded now, so. Yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah, that's right.
Save much money.
Going
That's it.
to something Greg you just said, would it be worthwhile for us to create a log of what grants we're going after and what they're for?
We can do that. We can put together a spreadsheet. We actually just did that for the town of Richmond, kind of the same thing to kind of track, because it kind of helps people understand like.
Yeah, I think that would just be,
Sort of,
put us all on the same page and be
Mhm.
clarified.
Also would help us with the LDC,
Yeah,
because there's always discussion there about,
good point.
are we aware of all the grants that are available?
Yeah.
I think we are between you two guys. Kevin and Greg, I mean, you guys see, you know what's out there, so.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
You see that invasive species
yeah,
grant?
yeah,
Okay.
actually, Dave just showed it to me, you emailed it, to me, yeah, we're looking at, yeah. So,
So that said, you wanna bring the pro housing grant, that we probably shouldn't bother with, but we'll decide.
Well, so the email that, when I sent that out, the email that came back to me was basically, can this be used for the comp plan? And Lori basically said that's really
That's
not
what
a,
Jared was inquiring.
yeah, it was not a good fit
And I don't,
for that pro housing grant.
doesn't seem like right now there's any purpose of trying to put in for anything else when we don't even know the status of our development. Cause it was just a planning grant, so
Mhm.
it didn't do anything but develop a plan. Not.
To that discussion, I talked to the developer the other day and they're beside themselves. Said he's experiencing this everywhere he's trying to work.
Cook community.
Hmm?
Cook development.
Mhm.
He's willing to hang in on ours. I spoke to him too, and he said he's hanging in, but.
Yeah.
Something's gotta break, you know,
yeah,
Yeah, for how long?
right, that's what he kind of said.
For the time being, but who knows how long that time is?
Right.
Has there been anyone detected any movement in Albany that would make the administration back off on some of these crazy rules that, I've not seen anything, it's just full speed ahead, December 31st, all electric. Yeah.
we've. At our last state meeting, nothing is being slow, even with diesel emissions or. They give us a little leeway, but it's not, we short lived, but so. But there's still no answer how to solve it.
There's no plan.
So.
You know, feelings, hours there, just can't move it anywhere.
Sure.
Okay, we had some resolutions, Jared. Had asked us, wanted to put on. Our agenda for our meeting and the 20th and sent those out to. With these guys, so I know it's not, one of them dealt with. Being declared a Purple Heart community. So that we'd be eligible for some grant money. To put flags up on flag, or the light poles that go on 332. And the other one was, what's the other?
That was a good idea. I think that Purple Heart is,
The other one was, well, the other one was, you know, like, supporting, Nick Langworthy's, fight against electrification, which we just talked about.
right.
I said yes to both of those, but I mean, I don't know what that's gonna do for Langworthy, but all we can do is make our voices
Well,
heard.
that's,
right?
it's a
That's
point,
it.
that's it, yeah. Okay, that was an easy one.
I think Purple Heart is also Pam.
Yeah, well,
I
hey,
think it is.
if you're talking to her about it, you know,
She mentioned that.
that'd be a good one.
It is a good one, yeah.
You know, we've taken a very active part in the Reach Across America. too,
Right.
So, you know, this is just another, you know, step in that direction, which is great. Absolutely. Okay. The control water main,
Yes, I asked
that's the roundabout or?
that and from 32 to 5 and 20. And the reason I asked Greg to put this together is because, one, I want to eliminate any and all old infrastructure and pieces of ACP that are we left that are not in the contract to build this roundabout. Because like, there'll be little spurs like going towards Pam's house, that's gonna have a little spur of ACP, a little spur on Charlie Miller's property. Any valves, any saddles, those are the things. Those are the old quick taps back in the day that I want to replace all that, but at the same time, we've been discussing replacing the ACP where we can, when we can, and I'd like to replace this section on Hickox Road, once the one of two feeds that feeds the town of East Bloomfield, and two, the road will be closed for that summer when they do it, so we could just replace that. About a mile of ACP to replace down through there.
So from Hiccup, from County Road 32 to 520,
Yeah.
essentially the whole thing.
Correct.
Yeah, and there's little spurs
Right.
that come off of the intersection of 332 to close it, to tie it back into where we already have some newer main.
Main.
Like we had newer main heading west on 32, and there's newer main south on Hickox, but we want to get rid of those spurs, so.
You said 332.
No, 32.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I didn't print that out because I didn't deal with the completed one, because you had like lines through it,
Oh, okay.
so.
Oh, she must,
Yeah, we didn't get an email
Yeah.
on the new one, so.
okay, yeah, all right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll-
Any idea on cost on that?
Yeah, it was around 70, I think it was 70 grand. I'll have Laura.
Well,
send it to you
no,
right
it was,
now.
the whole project's around 600 and something.
Yeah, we worked up an yesterday,
Yeah, we
we
talked
were
about
working
that
on
today
it,
about
so.
Cost of material and like, so,
So you've already put together, so.
well, no, we put together
Oh, just,
an estimate to replace that, and the cost of the proposal is 7. To do, because we have to go through the DOH survey. Sorry, survey, DOH, and the completion of completed work, so.
do we have a proposal? Full member be yet? I mean, is that something that's gonna be on
It won't be on this agenda
next month?
next
maybe?
month, yeah. I just want to talk about today,
Okay,
okay?
Did
We
does
did-
the county reimburse you for any relocation you have to do in the roundabout?
So they're gonna relocate the water main in the scope of work that's theirs too, okay? I want to eliminate those little pieces that are
You tie into where they,
correct. I don't want to come back and dig something up in this new router.
that makes sense.
Well, in the new
When the road's
roundabout,
closed, like you said.
plus, you don't wanna have new main, old ACP, and then new main.
New main.
Right.
We wanna tie the PVC to the PVC.
Is there any money out there for getting rid of ACP? Grant money?
That's the,
That is,
That's
we all.
well, I mean, yeah, it's we.
yeah, but that's.
That's part of that 8 or 5 million?
Yeah, so the WIA grant is targeting, I guess, a lot of the areas that were identified with our study for on the AC pipe that we wanted to replace, but it's mostly on Middle Cheshire Road. And that's the main spine of the system, but it's the original pipe from the original district, right? So, but there are other areas, and we're just trying to tick off some of
This
these.
would fall into.
Some of these other
WIA
like
grant.
small little.
Yeah.
Well, this scope isn't in that WIA project, but there's more ACP pipe to do than what, that project is actually able to
50
fund.
miles of it.
Yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of AC pipe in the system.
Boy,
Boy, it's kind of, if we get that WIA grant, we recently did a water tap down by your place, Terry, and just, that's just getting worse. That's not even coming out as a coupon anymore. It's just
mush.
mush. So, it's just an indication of the pipe is reached its useful life. It's,
When you take stuff out like that, can you guys take pictures of that?
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah, because, yeah, when we get that information, that's important information to be able to share, particularly with our grant applications.
so,
Make it look big.
anyways.
Exactly. The worse it looks, the
better it is.
more likely you get money.
Go to water turn off and $100.
Yeah, I emailed that out to everybody to review. You guys have the chance to review it all. What I was looking to do is, we had that incident this past spring where the resident said, turn the water on. We turned it on, and they came back, their house was full of water, and they wanted the town to pay for it. Stuff like that, okay? So what I'm looking to do, well, after you guys read it, and let's just make sure you look, I want to send it to Nadler to review also.
Oh, yes, I did see this.
And when it
This
comes
was
down,
just like somebody to sign off on.
yeah, like you have to physically be there, when we turn it on,
I did see.
and sign off that everything works. And be there when we turn it off, that your plumbing is safe, because we've been doing this for a long time, just doing it, and unfortunately, it's becoming where it's, yeah, it's a liability now for the town to assume that people know that their valves are on or off or not. And this will become SOP, and also become a point of complaint in the community, but when we're being asked to pay for, was it 50,000 they wanted, something like that? Next to a house, because we said one thing, they said another thing. It got, he said, she said type of thing, so I'm looking to present this to the board maybe in November to adopt it. And do we also want to have a fee to do this work with them? Because we don't currently charge anything right now, but we probably should be charging some for the,
Where are all these shutoffs? Where do they normally happen?
a lot around the lake.
Sure.
Cause they're kind of more seasonal.
Are they on the property
Still
generally, or they're in the right of ways where you're turning the water on
In
and
the
off?
right of way, but I will say on the east side, they're all on private drives. Okay, they're not on private public roads, and we do get involved in getting in some of these houses, like. We gotta get into the kitchen sink area underneath the cabinet to turn the water off.
We should definitely charge for that.
Okay,
I mean, in my mind, if we're going to somebody's house,
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
then what I like to do is just put it on the water bill.
Mhm.
Like you agree to put it on the water bill, so that way there, we're not
That's
trying to chase.
That should be part of that document.
It is,
Okay.
it is, John, it's in there, but I would like to not have them come in and pay first, just we'll put on the water bill. Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, it should be like a disconnect fee, and then it should have a date tied to it, and then a reconnect fee with a date tied to it.
Right, so
That's what it is.
Yeah,
it is,
Yeah,
but that's,
But this will protect us.
well, I want to protect the town from a potential lawsuit / insurance claim. Is what I'm trying, we've been doing it for a long time, it hasn't been an issue, but this past year it became an issue, and
No good deed goes unpunished.
this is true,
Do we have some kind of disclaimer that says once we turn it on, it's your responsibility?
we don't.
We should probably put that in there as well.
Yeah, there's language in
Yeah,
here, but I
I would
want
do
you
that,
guys to
but we could always-
review it. If you have any comments, then we'll send it to Nadler for his review. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Do the new meters track on and off as far as when to shut off? When, I guess it tracks if there's no water going.
If there's no
That's it.
going through
Yeah.
it, it tracks it that way.
So you, I guess, could say that you could track it that way, date wise, but yeah. To have it in writing is a better.
Well, yeah, it's just gonna make, people are.
Yeah, cause you're turning the water off.
Our residents are used to
At the-
just
at the
going, I
ground.
just turn it off, you know,
Weird.
I winterize my house, just turn it off. And then when they tell us to turn it on, they forget to sometimes turn the valve off. Something to that effect, and we have problems. Or something froze over the winter, we turn it on, walk away, now their house is full, so.
Yep.
Which has happened before. So.
You see it?
But where does the one situation stand?
I think, John, if I remember correctly, there's. Nothing gonna get done by the insurance company. Being like,
I don't know if the insurance is covered. What happened was they put a claim in to their insurance company. Their insurance company is the same as our insurance company. Their claim representative sent it on to us in a demand payment
right,
without notifying Chris Hubler. So we forwarded on to him, Chris Hubler talked with them and went back and forth and, Chris Hubler said, town has no liability. It was just last week, they were looking for, if we had any policy. Don't,
Nope.
and that's really the last, so I don't know if the insurance company's covering it or not, but they're not getting it from us, so. That's what they initially were trying to do.
I remember
I just
having
wanna
a
eliminate.
water line freeze in their family room. Went to the insurance company and they, in essence said, gee, that's too bad. I got a little bit of money for a carpet, but the rest of it was all on me, so. I remember years ago, just as an aside, Woody Allen once described hell as being locked in a jail cell with an insurance salesman for all eternity. That's it.
I got something too, Terry. Got one more thing for you.
All right,
All right,
so
so.
really.
Oh, I thought he was gonna tell a joke.
We,
Fire station.
fire station, oil, water supply.
I'm glad you're bringing up fire station. I wanted
Oh,
to
boy.
say that.
Okay, so the oil water.
Strap in, buddy.
Steel tank that they put in, when they built this. I went there yesterday, reviewed it. I don't know how water is backing up. I don't know where the water goes. We took out the cleanouts. We don't understand how it's piped.
Probably
This-
haven't leave the room for this.
What's that?
Doesn't drink to the lake, it's all.
Yeah.
The cap center divider of the tank is rotted out.
Yeah, the one about 330.
So it's really
Yeah, it
not
goes north.
separating, okay, and then there's two other small tanks that. Not sure why they have wide waters at different elevations, cause there's no weirs, no nothing. I know the opinion of the town boards. Let something else deal with it, but it's still our building and it's still our tank. At the end of the day, so. I have a few ideas, but I really don't know how we want to proceed with this. Issue with the tank, unless John, you have a suggestion that we.
Well, my follow-up to that is, what's the status of us giving the city the building?
So I sent an email out a couple weeks ago with all that information regarding the contract, the draft of the contract that we're proposing. And ultimately, we decided it wouldn't be prudent to give up the whole building, because then we're tying ourselves to the city of Canandaigua Fire District basically forever. So if they ever decide not to service us, they own the building, and they could just not service our town. So we talked about, not giving the building up, but turning over all maintenance to them. So that was part of the contract negotiations. And that they seemed to agree, they were willing to do. They're gonna create a capital project fund for the building within the city. They agreed to replace the doors that are needing replacement. And then And because, you know, we said that if you're, it's like you're building in the city, that gets paid for through your fire tax, your tax levy, so we should treat this building the same. It should get paid for through the fire tax levy rather than the entire town tax levy. And so either add more into the contract cost or just put it into your fire tax. And so, with the city, so they were in agreement with it, Goodman sent over the draft contract, but only added in there the capital project, so that's when I went through and made my red line version that was more in line with our conversations, and then sent it out to the group to get any input on that. Along with the side by side of some things that were taken out of the contract. That weren't necessarily discussed. But. It's.
He has to take it to city council though, right?
Yeah, so. I sent it back to them, I haven't gotten any comment from them back yet.
Any discussion about the oil separator?
It was discussed in yep, we talked about it, because at the time, though, I didn't know any details, I just mentioned that it was bad. Or we had some issue, the EPA had some issue with it, and they were like, yeah, we'll just, you know, we're fine, we'll just pump it out. But I guess then, you know, obviously they went to pump it out, found all
So is it?
I'm not sending that report, you're sending.
So in the way I wrote the drafted the contract up, changes I made in there. Based on our discussions, was that they would maintain, that would be also something that they maintain.
Yep.
For the time that they're there within the agreement. Also, the agreement is only for 1 year, because we were waiting for the study, which now we see came back that they need double the amount of people. But I think, you know, obviously at the time, we didn't know what the issue was, so I don't know, I'm kind of along the same line as Jim, that, you know, it doesn't seem like it actually was ever done correctly. Right, so it's not necessarily their issue, it was, and because the EPA will fine us. So they can just not do anything with it.
Right.
And we'll still be the ones that get fined. So.
Jim, what do you think the cost of making that, correcting the problem would be, the ballpark? I mean, I know you don't know exactly, but I have an idea.
I don't think we need a very large separator. If it was me, I would. Where the trench drain ends, bring it out to the outside and to the, I'll say towards Mayflowers. Put a concrete tank there, infill that with concrete, so it's just gone, then let it go out that, and have yourself a oil water grit separator. 20, 25, yeah, the tank is not very big.
Right, and we're polluting right now.
Yeah,
Right? So I mean, it'd be nice to correct that.
We don't know where.
But it's going someplace.
That would be, if it's polluting some, it's going into the regional zone, so it must be.
Right.
I see a sheet.
no, it's
No,
not,
it's not.
it's going to the sanitary
Yeah.
services.
Oh,
Yeah.
then you're not polluting, you're okay.
You're just out of the, you're not.
It's not ideal,
You're out of
but it's
compliance
not,
with the sewer code.
Like,
You're not
Yeah.
when
putting
you look
it
where
over.
it goes in, like, there should have been a pipe going down, so it takes to water, well, there's not, there's an open top. Everything goes into it, that goes to over here, and nothing. gets
There's
separated.
there's no
There's
separation.
no separation, the tank is,
Sounds like it never
Everything
gets.
goes the same.
well, I'll put it this way, it might have worked 30 some odd years ago, but it's a steel tank.
Yeah, whatever's in there
And
might have rusted out.
tank is all rusted
Yeah.
out, and it just goes,
And it's gonna be such little volume though, also, because it's inside. or- yeah,
it's not,
yeah.
it's a lot, but you're still,
It's only an issue if there's a spill.
Right, right.
So
So
I
it's gonna
think,
be a minor spill,
Mhm.
it's going sanitary sewer.
correct.
Jan says.
You see how much those trucks.
Yeah, she, something just been doing with it.
It'll be oil changes.
Yeah, they just keep adding.
Yeah, because it's our facility, and we asked that question of the EPA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
and I think if we got it in working order, they'd be more willing, you know, okay with, or at least maybe their city council, again. And the conversations I was having with the chief, with Goodwin, I mean, everybody seemed fine with it, of course, they gotta bring it to their council. I'm sure that they're gonna take issue with us turning maintenance over to them on something that already right away needs $20,000 worth of work. So,
Well,
I
my
think-
follow-up question with that, John, is, I just read the contract and I see that they're increasing our cost by $360,000 this year.
Mhm.
And it's only a one-year agreement.
Mhm.
Is it 1 year because of us or because of them?
the 1 year, we both agreed, we all agreed 1 year because of the unknown with this, study that was coming out.
The
And now that
research,
came-
the study, yeah.
Now it came out, I think it's still prudent to stick with 1 year because nothing that in that study is gonna be implemented this year. So it's a matter of seeing what they have to do with their staffing within the next year, so. I mean, I think the 1 year is beneficial for us because, you know, again, there's other discussions. Even at the county level, at this point with, or they're starting to, or will be starting potential regionalization and all that kind of stuff, so.
How did they justify the 25% increase in cost of services?
I'd have to. They provided their data.
We always pay, that's.
Well,
That's why.
Well, it's gone up from what originally we started at 600,000, I think,
Yeah.
and that was 3 or 4 years ago.
Double.
And
Well, I
it's
mean,
doubled in
they're-
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just seems
Well,
out of proportion.
well, Cheshire's gone up, maybe not the same percentage, but it's gone up significantly.
Yeah, fire truck
The cost
alone,
of equipment is a big
Fire-
part.
yeah, $1.5 million.
Say that again, please, John?
I said fire trucks alone in the last couple of years have increased in cost, doubled in their. The numbers that Cheshire was even showing us on the cost, that's why they're trying to bond out their fire trucks, because they can't afford to outright buy one.
If the city should decide to follow that CPSM recommendation, it's double or a little bit more than double the number of firemen. That contract's gonna be
Yeah,
2
huge.
million a year, easily. So, yeah. I mean, that whole regionalization thing, though, I saw, somebody from the council, I think Mike Mills, was quoted the same. We need further analysis by CPSM regarding regionalization, so it's like, we paid for this study. Now we've got to do another study or data analysis to see where we should go. It's just kicking the can down the road, really.
Tough one with the regionalization. The county did a study countywide for that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was decided amongst all the departments and districts that they weren't even gonna pursue it.
There's a lot of this.
Yeah.
So the study's already been done for the regionalization, so.
Well, yeah, you may not be aware of that. We're busy focused on this.
Well, at some point in time, cost is gonna have to factor into this regionalization, because, I mean, neither the city nor us can keep going at this rate, you know? You gotta have fire protection.
Yeah.
So
Well-
there,
To take it back to the oil water separator, we need to decide what to do about that.
How about,
And it sounds to me like that's on us. We need to replace the system.
I think we need to replace the system.
Yeah.
We get it out of
I
the
mean, that's
station.
just, that's your recommendation, trying to trace that thing down and repair it, and probably spend more money than.
I was hoping it was. Be able to structurally line it, but it's just, it's not good.
Is there a way that can be worked into the fire tax though? So that we don't have to scramble and find
No,
30 grand or
that's
something.
a fire tax cost. That's more of a general fund cost because it's a building owned by the town
Yeah.
for the maintenance. I mean. I just think that would be cleaner than trying to
Okay.
raise funds You raise it, you pull out so much for it, then give the rest of the city.
Well, it sounds like it's something that should be done soon, because we certainly don't want the EPA finding us an equal amount or more. Get beyond that, town of Canandaigua with something to run.
I'm not.
Well, not too late.
Even though I go to the sewer.
It's all the same, but it's not.
I'll eventually.
Eventually,
You know,
Because one caveat is that we're gonna have to talk to the county about it, because, and they may have something totally different from what I'm thinking to make this easy and simple.
Oh, you think they might throw other stuff out?
I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there so you guys
Well,
know.
My vote would be to repair that, I mean, make that
I
right,
agree, but
right,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
At some point in time, there's a cost associated with that,
Yeah,
it should be a simple fix, but
yeah.
And I'm looking at my notes here from them, because they did agree to, also, again, before we knew the extent, that was to provide inspection reports every year for the oil water separator. So that we know that they're maintaining it.
of course.
Well, moving forward.
Yeah. It's still going to the sewer.
We have to get permission or permit or whatever from.
For what, to do this?
Yeah,
oil separator?
can we just do that? Without,
You might be able to do it with the county.
Reach out to Jack and see if we can't do something, okay? It's really simple, it's a simple thing to do.
Yeah, so it'll need county approval and then we'll have to issue. a permit for it, so.
county what?
County DPW sewer approval,
Okay.
and then we would issue a permit. for
Oh.
the work to be-
So. That's all.
Well, we should do it. I mean, that's gotta be done.
Can I make a suggestion? You have the city buy what you need to put in and you guys install it?
Are you gonna ask them?
I have no problem with it. It's fine.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna take it. I
It
don't
makes
see
complete,
them.
it's a great way of dividing the costs up and saying this is
Well,
how you need to.
So they're agreeing to pay for the $66,000 bay doors that need to be replaced already.
I think it's a good
Just,
deal.
I'm just curious how they
I don't know
determine
if
the
they're-
doors have to be
It
replaced.
doesn't hurt to ask, though.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's no.
Worst they do is say no,
Yeah,
same place we are now.
right.
And it's part of that partnership of what you guys are trying to achieve. And so it's, they pay for it, you guys install it,
I'm up for letting Kevin ask.
I agree.
We can have.
Whatever. I have no problem. I like to tweak John or something.
We did. And we did also knock them down $130,000 for their original ask
Oh,
for,
good, John.
so they were initially asked for 1.57 million, and so we knocked them down to 1.46. But just to answer your question, John, the cost comes from a percentage of call volume, property values, and then they take their total operating costs and then divide that by that percentage.
Do you know what percentage of the overall budget we are paying for?
Yes.
They made that presentation, remember when they came in, the firefighters said they had that all broken out, so
I don't remember what the bottom line was.
I don't remember the bottom line either.
So we have 22% call volume. Cost share, then with between the call volume and the property values, it equals 30%.
How much?
30%.
30? Thank you. Answered my question.
And they're looking at total fire department costs for 2026 at just over 5.2 billion.
How much?
5.2 billion.
2 million, 5.5?
5.2 or 5.2 million. Significant increase in salary and benefits, so over 200,000. Health insurance, we saw our health insurance go up by over. So.
Yeah, everyone's health insurance is going nuts right now. So 25% for us, so.
One more thing real quick. Second point, we're getting close to.
Yes. So so again, the be able to let that project, it's not a Robbie MRB decision, that's a DOT decision when we can let it, so, but. I just reviewed plans last night, there's some minor tweaks that need to go, and then that's going back to Robbie, hopefully by the end of today. So I can go back to the DOT decision one way or the other.
We tried it, we wanted to get that out to bid. Early 26. It's 'cause
Yeah.
We gotta build that box culvert, that's gonna take some time, so. And we gotta dig all the earth out, that's gonna take some time.
How long will the road be shut?
Probably about 6 months, yeah.
I'd say. Yeah,
It could easily be 6 months. I mean, right contractor, probably cut that to 4, but. I would say 6,
six.
be conservative.
How busy is Benton Point Road? I mean,
It's not, it's like maybe 500 cars a day, yeah.
It's not a terrible detour either,
No.
just sending out to 21.
So,
okay, anything else, Jim?
I do have one other thing to kind of toss out here, so just so you guys are all aware, I got Dan, my GS guy, working on trying to rectify some of the issues that we have with the water districts relative to what the county has versus what we have. And we're basically doing the same process with Farmington, and I guess the one thing I will share with you guys, that it does appear that the county GIS department, when consolidations are going in, they're taking the artistic liberty of just bubbling everything out and closing in areas that are not actually in the district. So that's why Buffalo Street Extension had that area bubbled in that has no water main, and then we ended up charging people that aren't in the district for water. So and there's other stuff that's kind of like there's a road that was realigned, so the district actually follows the old center line of the road, and then I need to get a little bit of a legal interpretation, because I don't know if the district basically revises itself automatically to follow the new center line of the road when we change the intersection. So there's some inconsistencies, and we're flagging areas that, you know, are showing up as not having public water that do have public water. We're finding people that are not coded into the district that should be coded into the district. So, you know, it's just doing, you know, we're doing a little bit of a deep dive into this. But the intent is to try to get our shape files squared away, and then we'll reshare those with the county at some point. But probably what we should do is have like an official water district map at some point in time. So that way, you know, that's what we use as kind of the Bible, as the who's in and who's out versus this creative because a lot of our districts were they're offset districts, right? So they're offset from the road, like either 500 foot or.
Are they being? You want me to ask?
We're almost done.
We're on our last topic, I believe, but like, so some of those areas were offset districts, and then they just colored in the rest of the districts. They did it down on County Road 16, so. Not to say that like at some point in time, it's probably worth amending the district boundary just to kind of wrap that in, but the original district itself was an offset, but. Once it was consolidated, someone was like, wow, it doesn't look right, so I'm just gonna close this polygon around the actual property boundaries. Can't do that.
So there are people who are being charged?
Yeah.
And we're in?
Yes, on Buffalo Street Extension, like, you know, someone was asked, I think you sent an email, there's like, hey, these guys were getting charged for the past couple of years.
Yeah, Jeff was.
And I'm like,
We
just, I don't think there's water main there.
There's been others.
They aware of that.
County?
Made it squared off.
No, people.
Oh, yeah, they contacted.
I mean, it does come
I'm
on a
like,
prettier map, it looks
right.
cleaner, but it's not what the actual district looks like. Yeah,
But revenue.
I just have one quick question. The new tank, Frank Canandaigua Farmington,
yeah,
what's its status now? It's being
not
pumped in.
quite full yet. I think they're gonna have to pump in the last, whatever, 100,000 gallons or so.
What's the whole million and a half?
Two, I think it's 2 million.
How come we got a pump?
So it's riding off of the hydraulic gradient, so, and we always kind of knew there was probably gonna be some level of you know, does it fill all the way to the top or not? The idea is like, you don't want it locked out, right? So,
Right.
so there is like some, so if you weren't in a drought condition and, you know, your usage wasn't still relatively high, it would slowly creep its way up, but it's probably gonna, you know, that last 100,000 gallons of tank will basically offer you some buffer if there's other hydraulic improvements upstream that will push that hydraulic gradient back to that tank. So it will, you know, because we're just trying to prevent it being locked out, is essentially what we did.
Hopefully.
So there's probably some amount of like storage space that probably won't be utilized, you know, immediately.
Is the city's new tank construction gonna change that at all?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to kind of, I thought this, they were just replacing,
Yeah.
they're the tank farm, so that's off the same hydraulic gradient, so no, that's not gonna change anything for us. It'll be if they changed anything with a transmission main or upsize some mains coming out of the city or coming, north to the north of the city. If that stuff changed, then yeah, it could change the hydraulics. I mean, at some point in time, we're talking about swapping out the main heading south from Brickyard anyways, as a potential need depending upon the growth between what's happening in Farmington and the northern part of Canandaigua as well, as there could be a future need for that at some point in time. That would, again, at nighttime, it would drive the hydraulic gradient light higher. So again, we're just trying to avoid it being locked out. So you do have to kind of fill it a little bit to probably get it, they get 100, yeah, they get it 100% filled, but you know, generally speaking,
Spending $14 million. Right?
yeah,
You locked up.
but it's close. I think it's, you know, they were, it filled pretty well until it got to about the, you know, where it's almost full, and then you have to wait for the demand in the system to kind of drop out. So it's like they had, you know, over the several days, it was filling, you know, a few 100,000 gallons a day, and then it was trickling down. I think the last time they looked at it, only filled like, you know, 20,000 gallons. We're like, all right, it's gonna be too slow for it to fill the rest of the way, so I want to pump it in.
Gotta wait for winter.
Yeah, well, I think everyone wants to kind of get it wrapped up
Oh, yeah.
so they can demo the old tank.
It's on bacteria test yet.
No, because they can't do any of the testing until we fill the tank.
Oh,
They gotta do VOC testing, and BACT testing, so. I think that Farmington's gonna do the testing for Landmark.
Okay, hey, we're done. We're good. Good meeting. Good
Okay.
information.
E-Man did well.
Yeah,
Laurel should.
You get-
Probably have a
that
little
proposal
hope. There's a
too.
little hope.
Skidaboo, you got
Yeah,
a player there.
yeah, it's interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good team.
Let's see.
Bye, folks.
Sewer.
See ya.
What's that?
So you know, on the sewage.
Yeah, that's Raymore Flanagan right loose in that area.